How's it going, guys? How all are doing? Welcome to a brand new video tutorial from IPNews. Today I'm going to talk about a really important topic. As a web developer, you probably need to master, you probably need to learn before it's too late. We are going to actually get into the Webpack. We're going to just go and dive right into what is Webpack, why you should consider using Webpack if you haven't already, and why Webpack is just such a powerful tool to have or to add into your project or your next project or your currently working project just right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive into Webpack. We see why Webpack is such an important tool to have, to master, and to know about, and to use it right out of the box. So I'm just going to go ahead and explain what is Webpack first. So we have this like really nice slide in here. So Webpack, first things, the question comes up on your head whenever you heard this word. If you haven't, or if you're not actually familiar with it, so you're gonna say, what is Webpack? So Webpack is an asset bundler that takes your web Node.js project. So it just works with web or Node.js without problems projects, and bundles it into a small and minified JS or CSS files. So it helps with faster uploads. If you have like a really large project or big application, scale application, you're just gonna take it apart and just minify that, put it into a really small JavaScript file that defines all of your code. Everything is in there, minified, small and ready made for you, compressed, of course. You can just really optimize the layout time of your application, or for your website, or for your web application, or even your Node.js application. It works fine for it. So, and then code protection, of course, so you can just secure, give some security, privacy to your JavaScript code. Also, it maps every dependency your project requires and includes it on the final output bundle. So let's say your file or your project actually requires some custom font styles, some custom images, some custom, SVG files. So everything is just going to be bundled, taken away, and output into some directory you specify through the configuration the Webpack actually provides. The API of Webpack provides, so you can just provide it, take it, and output it into an organized folder, so you can just later on use it, or Webpack use it simultaneously. So you don't even need to care about the public folder if you're like running a web application. So the public folder is really important thing to have on your web application so you don't even need to think about it. Webpack is just gonna do all the heavy job for you, the heavy lifting. You're just gonna like take care of all the dirty job, take the dependencies, output them in a really organized way, and that's it. So all you're gonna need to do is just like make the application development, and Webpack takes care of optimizing it and layouting all the required dependencies. It's basically necessary for modern projects development. So if you're like thinking about starting a project, or you're currently working on a project, you should probably consider using Webpack nowadays, since it's a very simple thing. Now, with its deep support configuration and the available plugin on the market, you can use it to bundle and compile pretty much anything. Any ES version, any JavaScript version, ES6, 7, 8, ES whatever, and acquire any file type or third-party dependency your projects pretty much use. So any dependency you have in your project, third-party, official dependency, whatever, or Webpack pretty much gonna take care of this dependency with no problems. You should consider using it on your JavaScript project, of course, if you haven't already, or if you're not thinking about it already. So let me just go ahead and show you the way into configuring a real-world application using Webpack, just the basic thing. So if you really like the series, I can do I'll add more tutorials on it, but just for this tutorial, just gonna show you the basics and why Webpack is such an important thing. So here's the official website of the Webpack, so webpack.js.org. So as you can see from the main web pages, you can take all of these different things like JPEG, PNG images, SAS, whatever thing, it just like bundle them and output them in a really simple and minified files, so your application can like very quickly layout them with no problems, and you can just skip the hassle of requiring all different files and stuff like this. So this is called modern web development using Webpack, or there's other libraries that do That's pretty much the same job as Webpack, but I think, or as I personally recommend, Webpack is just the best thing on the market right now for each developer pretty much. So I really recommend going with this one. So let's just go ahead and see the projects. I have Visual Studio Code open in here with a brand new project. So I'm just going to walk you through from the startup how to create a project right here. So let's say we're going to have a very small, easy to use Node.js or even a normal web application in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and install the structure. So first things first, create a project. Let me just call it the distribution. This distribution folder can take care of. It's pretty much the same as a public folder. So all of the public file are gonna rest there, gonna live pretty much there, like the main application there and stuff like this. So the website public folder is gonna be the distribution folder. We're gonna create another one in here. I'm gonna call it the SRC. The SRC is gonna pretty much be our in development application or in development source files. So all the development source files gonna live in the SRC. So whether it's JavaScript, whether it's CSS or Sass, whether it's fonts files like has some our assets, custom assets or images like PNG or JPEG, whatever. So everything's going to live on the SRC. We're going to have a file for the configuration of the Webpack, and this file is really, really important. So it's pretty much the most important thing to have whenever you try to include or pretty much use Webpack on a real world project. So you have to include or create this configuration file. So all you need to do is you must type in the same name as in here. So webpack.config.js. Type in this one and everything should look pretty much fine. But before going any further and setting up Webpack and configuring it, what we're going to need to do is, as you know, we're going to need to npm, like we need to create or initialize npm with this, or initialize this project pretty much with Node.js and npm and vice versa. So make sure to go ahead and install Node.js if you haven't already. The website is nodejs.org, obviously. So nodejs.org, or just type in Node.js in Google. You're going to probably just go right there. As you can see, nodejs.org, just go to the download section and everything going to be fine for you. So you can just easily download it and install it. It comes you're going to install both of Node.js and npm, so you don't really need to worry about this. So first things first, as I said, we need to initialize our repository or initialize our projects. The package name is just going to like leave it as that. The version as this, Webpack or something. And entry points for this one, you're going to need to specify what entry point. I'm just going to say up.js because I'm going to like include it later on. And the test command gonna be nothing, get repository keyword, and I'm just gonna put Webpack again. The author, of course, me, Islam Benoist, and obviously I mistyped my name without problems. And MIT, of course, I'm just gonna say yes, and yeah, here we go. I've got a package.json. Package.json means that we have initialized npm on a Node.js projects right here. So now let's go ahead and install some dependencies we need to require, like the Webpack thing, like some third-party plugins that we're going to need to use for bundling all of the different things for the JavaScript code, for the CSS code, and then all the different things. So let's go ahead and install this. So make sure to run npm install. First things first, the most important part is to install Webpack itself. Now, since Webpack version 4, there is two different Webpack plugins or different modules of Webpack. So this is the Webpack thing. This is a general plugin, or pretty much a general module. It keeps saying it's naming its plugin pretty much while it's a module. So this is the general thing. With the general, you need to install the CLI, the command line interface Webpack. So just type in again Webpack-CLI, and you're gonna have the CLI installed. So this is the most important package to have whenever you try to install Webpack on any projects or acquire any projects. Make sure to install both of these because they are the core modules that are gonna run Webpack and bundle all of your CSS, JavaScripts, and then different files pretty much. So this is what you need pretty much require for the installation. With our thing, we're gonna need more different things like the CSS layout. So I'm just gonna install this. CSS layout, of course, style layout, and pretty much you're gonna need Sass layout, as you obviously know. And I'm going to this is all we're gonna need to do. We're gonna need one other thing to use Sass. You know what is Sass and CSS and different things, and bundle them with Webpack. So we need a specific plugin. As I told you before, Webpack is full of plugins and stuff, so you can easily use plugins and stuff. This plugin is called Extract, text-webpack-plugin. And for this plugin, there's like a really bad problem with this. So if you try to install like this, you're gonna have a really bad problem. I don't know if they fixed it or yet, or not really yet, but to fix it, what you're gonna need to do is install the next version of this plugin. So to do that, just put add next, and it's just gonna install the latest in development version pretty much, but it just works pretty much fine. I have this installed on all my projects, and it works pretty much fine. So yeah, make sure to go ahead and install this. And yeah, everything's gonna be pretty much fine from now on. So just save a dependency in here, and we're gonna need to wait for the installation to complete. And here we go, after everything has been installed successfully, as you can see all the plugins that we're acquiring. And yeah, now we are ready to start putting the configuration. Now, as I told you before, the configuration is the most important part, so make sure to go ahead and open up webpack.config.js. And let's just go ahead and start configuring this. So first things first, let's just go ahead and require the path module. The path module is gonna like allow us to resolve some files we're gonna have on relative files on our projects, so we can resolve them and obviously put them in the configuration, be telling it that Webpack start compiling from this file, or output this file into this particular directory, and so on and so forth. So we're gonna need the path Node.js modular. So I'm just gonna like require this one, and it's going to be the path. So now we have the path. The configuration objects of Webpack is pretty much is a normal JavaScript object. So all you're going to need to do is export it as default. So you say export.modular, and pretty much it's not modular.export pretty much, and you put it in an object. So this is it. So make sure to export it as the as pretty much the thing. So as you can see in here, as the default thing, pretty much this is what I meant to say. So model.export is going to be the default thing, and it's going to be a normal object. The first thing you're going to need to cover, or you need to put in this objects, is the entry point, or from where Webpack is going to start compiling. So it's called entry. So the entry point of this entry attribute is going to like it's a file, it's a JavaScript file pretty much. So it tells Webpack from where to start compiling. So you're going to need to tell it. I'm going to use the path. I'm just going to say resolve, and I'm going to resolve a file. So let's just go ahead and create a file on here on our project. So it's just going to be in the root project. So I'm just going to say app.js, and this is what I want, or where Webpack, or from where I want Webpack to start compiling directly and like outputting everything. So this is the starting point, app.js, and I'm just gonna say here we need to give it in a relative path. Relative path means just gonna relative to where the Webpack configuration file exists. So I'm just gonna say the same directory in app.js. The second thing, I'm going to need to give it the mode. The mode is pretty much telling it, there's like two possible values for this mode. The development mode, if you're like just developing your application and stuff, the development mode is going to help you like debug your application, see the problems, see the errors in action. And there's the other mode in production mode. So the production mode is going to allow you to produce or deploy your application to a real world web server, to everybody can see it and use it pretty much as a real world application. So the production is going to like have more privacy, code security, and so on and so forth. A lot of things. So I'm just going to put it in development. As you know, we are developing application in here. So the first thing you need to put is in development. Now the other thing is the output object. So it's gonna add an object, and this output object is gonna tell it where to output the bundled files. So after just taking all of the different files from the app.js, starting compiling all of them, all of the dependency graph and stuff like this, it's just gonna like take all of the files, minify them, and put them somewhere on the project you specify from here. So first thing, you're gonna give it the file name of this file. I'm just gonna say to put it in object.js again. You need to distinguish between this one and this one. This one is just for development, and I'm just gonna output this app.js into the distribution folder. So they are completely different things. I'm just gonna say the second thing is gonna be the path. So where to put this app.js file. The path is gonna be pretty much I'm gonna use the path in here, and I'm just gonna say resolve. So where we want to put it, I'm just gonna obviously put it into the / distribution folder right here. I'm just gonna say a folder at the end in here in order to make sure it's just gonna take a folder. And yeah, this is all you're gonna need to do, just the file name and the path, and everything should pretty much work fine for you. So this is the configuration, this is the basic thing. You need to tell it the entry point from where to start compiling, then the mode of the compiling, so whatever you need to compile, and the output. Now, if you really need to use this application with Node.js and stuff, what you're gonna need to add is another property tool, or it's called the target property. The target property is just like have two values, either web, so for a general web application, or for Node.js. So yeah, you need to put either Node or pretty much the web. So I'm just gonna say in here the target is gonna be pretty much Node.js, or just Node, like with no Node.js or Node.js at the end, and this is all you're gonna need to do. Now, the other thing, we're gonna have the resolve property, or the resolve object. The resolve object is gonna take another property called extensions. The extensions is simply an array that you give it the extensions of the file, of the source code files that it needs to resolve. So what source code files it needs to resolve, or what it takes and compiles later on. So for example, you're gonna tell it .js or .typescript. I don't know if you have other files like .cpp or .r, if you call it something like this. If you have different languages like Ruby and stuff like this. But I'm just gonna say in this particular example, I'm just gonna say .js, .jsx for React, and obviously the last thing I'm just gonna say .json. So whenever it finds this one, it's just gonna take it and compile it right away. So this is for the resolving what extensions to resolve. Now the most important part is the module part. So the module part is going to tell it how to compile things. So let's say you have a JavaScript code in here, which is not a normal JavaScript, but it is using React and using the ES6 and ES7 version of JavaScript. So, or the ES 2015 and ES 2016 versions. So pretty much you're gonna need to use a like specific layout for yielding this JavaScript code, because the normal layout of JavaScript doesn't know about that. So to tell it, you need to use like a custom layout in here, like Babel, or different layouts like Transform, or like TypeScript layouter, or Awesome TypeScript layouter. There are a bunch of layouters out there, but you need to use a layouter for layouting this code, and it knows how to compile it pretty much. It takes all of the JavaScript code, like the specific code you have there, it takes it, compiles it, and obviously it tells Webpack how to put it eventually on the output file. So in this case, we're gonna need to add some objects. So this model is gonna like simply like it takes rules. So it takes rules objects. This rules array, pretty much not objects, is taking a bunch of objects. So these objects are test objects telling Webpack how to compile specific files. So you have first to test the file you want using a regular expression. Again, if you don't know about regular expression, what they are, regular expression, you're gonna find below in the description full detailed video about regular expression, how they work and stuff like this. So make sure you go ahead and check it out, obviously, for knowing more about it. So here you need to give it the extension that it needs to resolve. So how the extension, and as I told you, you're going to need to go ahead and know more about regular expressions in order to understand what I'm doing in here. What I'm basically telling it is to look for the CSS files. So just I'm telling it to go ahead, look for CSS files, and just grab the CSS file. So whenever you find .css file, what it does, it's just going to use this layouter I'm telling right here. So this layouter is going to be like a third-party layouter that we have installed later on. If you can quietly remember, if I'm just going to pull off this again, as you can see, we have a CSS layouter in here that is responsible for layouting CSS files. So I'm just going to call it this one. So I'm telling it going to use the CSS layouter for layouting that one. There is more like custom properties depending on the layouter you're using, but this is as basic as it is. So you just first test it, then you give it the layouter name it's going to use, and that's it. So this is all you're going to need to provide. You can add more rules in here if you have like another testing for a JavaScript file or something. Like, I don't know, you're going to tell it to test for a JS file. If it finds a JS file, use a custom layouter. But for now, I'm just going to keep it very, very simple, as you can see in here. And obviously, there's the rules, there's the test in here with the CSS file, and this is all you're going to need to worry about. So as you can see, it's quite simple. What eventually or usually going to have on a normal Webpack configuration file is a bunch of test objects in here that keeps like testing about CSS files, testing about fonts files, testing about images, testing about video files or something if you have that, and loads of more other things that you're gonna like eventually test for. So yeah, this is as basic as this. What you're pretty much gonna need to use for a normal Webpack layout, as you can see. So as you can see, it's quite basic. For now, I'm just gonna use it for a normal JavaScript and Node.js. I told you it's quite basic. So mode export and export this custom configuration. And let's go ahead and put something in here under this one. I'm just gonna console log hello from Webpack compiler or bundler or something. Just, you know, make it simple. Like just saving this one, and just go ahead how now to compile this one, how to bundle and tell Webpack to stop bundling and putting everything in distribution folders. You can see right now the distribution folder is empty and has nothing. So we want to like produce this and put it into the distribution folder, which is gonna like give us an app.js minifiled, compiled or bundled file right there. So to do that, we're just gonna like run Webpack, and yeah. So just run this Webpack. Make sure you are actually in the project directory. So as you can see, Webpack basics. So this is it, where all the files exist. So just call in Webpack right there, and make sure obviously Node.js and npm is installed. So Webpack, after putting this one, you're just gonna now try to find that, and here you go. So as you can see, now you've got your app.js ready made for you. If you try to open that up, you're probably not gonna understand any of it. So as you can see, like a bunch of different things, that weird things with a comment in here. So you're not gonna understand any of this, but just close it. As you can see, this is the file ready made for you. Now let's go ahead and try run this using Node.js, of course. Having the Node.js compiler, I'm just gonna tell it to go into the distribution, of course, and app.js and see what is gonna be happening. So, and here we go, we've got hello from Webpack Bundler. So as you can see, we've done a really simple and quite basic example in here, just like taking some CSS file, just showing you the rules, how it works, and how resolving extensions and how to output in. So this is the main area that you need to focus on for the right now. But if you have like on the next video tutorials, we're going to cover more things, how to add more advanced layouters, how to layout CSS, how to layout Sass and stuff like this, how to layout with a different or a custom JavaScript layouter like Babel and stuff, to layout React code and stuff like this, and many other things we're going to cover on in the next video tutorial. So that was actually guys for this video tutorial. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you all guys have enjoyed today's video tutorial, and hopefully it will catch you all in the next video tutorial, either in Webpack series or in a brand new series. So thank you guys for watching. See you all in the next one.